Well, that looks to be working. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Adjusting bandwidth. Mic is on, camera's on, everything's on. Hello. I'm using my rubbish camera today because I'm on my laptop because my desktop is broken. So I'm going to have to try and do it one screen. But I thought I'd do a little video on how I draw my plans and blueprints for building props. I'm just going to do something quite small and simple, but I'm going to look at using a program called Inkscape. Inkscape is a free software that works a lot like Adobe Illustrator, but it is free, which is great. If you don't have Adobe Illustrator and you want some free software, this is the one that you should definitely see about trying out. So let me just show you. This is the Inkscape website. I'm hoping that this split screen is working. And it is very simple to download, very simple to install, and very simple to use. Who's it actually made by? I can't remember. But yeah, it's simple. A couple of clicks will get it downloaded, and they have it for Windows, for Mac OS, and for Linux. And it's free, and it is open source if you're into that type of thing. So yeah, that is that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some plans. I'm going to take you step by step through the program and how I go and use it. Naturally, it's like any program. There are a lot of functions. There are a lot of tools. There are a lot of things that you can do with it. And just like Illustrator, it can be used to do really, really complex things. But I'm going to use it to do something really, really simple, and that is just draw some lines. I'm going to show you how simple it is to use and how quickly you can draw really nice detailed plans that you can then go ahead and use for building your props or your cosplay. So I have no idea if this split screen is going to work. In theory, it should work. So I've only got the one screen, so I can't really tell. I'm going to go ahead. Well, let's have a look at what I'm planning on making first. I am planning on, I've been paying close attention to the new Batman versus Superman movie. And I've also been thinking that I could update my Batarang collection. So I am going to draw some really simple plans to build some awesome new Batarangs from the new Dawn of Justice movie. I think these images were from San Diego Comic-Con. I might be wrong. Someone can correct me there. But there's a couple of different types of Batarangs, and they're big, beefy Batarangs, not like the small ones that I've made from Batman from the Nolan movies, Dark Knight. So they look quite cool, quite awesome, quite beefy. And so what I've done is I've gone and I've grabbed a couple of images off the internet. Some people have already made them. So I've grabbed a couple of images, and these are the images that I'm going to use. This is a render. I'm not sure where I got this from. It might be from Thingiverse or somewhere like that. But this is the image I'm going to work with today. It's just nice and clear, nice contrast in it. And we're going to use that basically just to trace over, which is going to be really, really straightforward. So I'm going to switch over to the Inkscape program and show you what it's all about. So let's just flick on to here. So this is the Inkscape program. The layout will make sense as you go along, like any other program. Once you hover over something, it tells you what that function is. Simple little jog dial will go up and down. You can use your cursor to go left and right. You can press plus and minus to zoom in and out of your job, which is nice and simple. the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my document. So you can use this entire workspace, but this is your document. And what I'm going to do is change that to generic size. Pull this over here, and you can choose different paper size. I'm going to choose my measurements into millimeters. So my ruler on the top is going to be in millimeters. And then I'm going to pick my paper size. And this is only a small piece, so I'm going to go A3. And I am then going to put that in landscape. And then once we close that, you will see that there is my A3 document all ready to go. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to import my image. I didn't save it to my desktop. So where is it? Is it in here? Yeah. And I can't remember what these functions, but generally I just click OK, and it's all good. So there we go. And there is the image imported. I'm just going to scale it down slightly. And that's it. So this image, as I said, is a render 3D file. And I don't think the photograph was taken, or the render image has been taken square on. It looks to have been taken at a slight angle. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to draw a line down the center, and then I'm going to draw half of it, and then later on I will do a mirror, which will mean that it will be symmetrical, which is probably key for a Batarang. You want it to be symmetrical. So tools that I am going to use, and the main tool that I use for Inkscape is this one over here, which is your Draw Bezier Curves and Straight Lines. And this basically allows you to draw firstly straight lines, which then can be turned into Bezier curves. So what I'll do is I'll just select that tool, and I am going to just draw a couple of lines, and you'll see there that you can go from point to point. You can do any sort of shape you want. Double click, and there is your line, which is really nice and straightforward. You can then adjust. Let me see. You can then adjust. No, where am I going? Yeah, you can adjust the stroke of your line, so you can change it to be a thicker line, which is quite handy. And then you can also, oh no, I need to see it. Let's just stick it to. And then there's also some options in here where you can join, you can cap it, you can turn it into dashes and stuff if you want to do invisible lines, which we're not going to look at now. Well, maybe we'll look at it later on. So you can draw straight lines with this, which is great. But you're going to need to draw curves at some points, because there are some curve bits in this drawing and this this design. So if you go up here to your, what's this called, your toolbar on the left hand side, the first one is a selection tool, which allows you to select different pieces, which is quite standard for most programs. But the second one down is an edit path by node function, which is kind of like your direct select on not Inkscape, in Illustrator. So once you click this, what you can do is you can then use these functions up along here. The functions, we'll go over them. The first one is insert a new node into the selected segment, or you can delete a node. You can join nodes, you can break nodes apart, you can join selected end nodes with a new segment, you can delete segments between two non-endpoint nodes. And these are the important ones that I enjoy the most, is you can make the selected node a corner, or you can make the selected node smooth. You can make the selected node symmetrical, or you can make selected nodes auto smooth. And what we're going to do is just going to select here, select smooth. I'm going to select a node, I'm going to select smooth, and you can see it turns it into a curve. When you click on that, it then gives you Bezier lines, which you can adjust how that curve looks. and it gives you a great range of flexibility at creating really nice, unique shapes. And it's quite simple to use just by playing around with them. It may take a little bit of getting used to. I know it took me a while, well, not a while, but half an hour of playing around with them to figure out how they work and how best to use them. But I'm going to just quickly show you how you can go ahead and use this program to create nice, simple files. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that and I'm going to delete it. And we're going to see about tracing over. Excuse me. We're going to see about tracing over. I think you have ruler tools. So I'm just going to set our ruler to, oh, that image is quite squint, isn't it? Okay. It's not the best image to work from. It'd be good if you could just get a totally flat facing image, but we'll work with this. So I'm just going to set a ruler there, a guideline, and I'm going to select my Bezier line tool, and I'm going to start from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from point to point. I'm going to pick up the big sort of key points of where I want my lines to be. Now, you don't have to be precise, because the beauty of this program is that you can then really simply move all these nodes, all of these points that you're laying down, and you can add more, you can delete them. So you don't exactly have to be super accurate. And that's it. So there we go. I'm just going to thicken that up a bit just to make it look, just so we can actually see it. And there is our drawing, but it's all straight lines, so we're going to have to go in and adjust them. Now, because I've put my points, my nodes, onto sort of corners, angle points off the design, I can't exactly smooth these out. So I'm going to have to add, I want a curve between here and here, between these 2 points. So what I'm going to have to do is add in a node, because I don't want that to be smooth and I don't want that point to be smooth. So I'm going to add in a point here. So I'm going to select my add, insert nodes into select segment, and I'm just going to click on it there. And it should, oh, where it is. No. There we go. So you click on the selected segment first, and then you click add a node. And now I've got a node that I can adjust. So I'm just going to select that again, select that, and there we go. And now I can start to play around with it. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And then you can see I've got my Bezier lines that I can now adjust. And I can play around with those and get them sitting just right. Now I've got this set quite thick, so I might want to reduce that down a little bit, just so I can actually see what I'm doing. And you see that's not too far off. Might need to just tweak it a little bit like that. And by grabbing the Bezier line here, I can just sort of belly it out a little bit more towards this point. And there we go, there's our first curve. So I'm just going to do that for the second one up here. So I'm going to grab this line, I'm going to, and there we go. Simple again, just add in an additional node, and I'm going to make that smooth. Oh, I'm going to make sure I grab the one I want to make smooth. And now I can adjust it. Oh, there's a bit of a glitch. Okay. So that's not too bad. Okay, so very, very quickly there, we have already taken, we've already started to reveal the blueprint. So I'm just going to repeat that process again. I'm going to select this node. I'm going to add it on in, and there it just goes. Oh. Control Z, again, will undo your last move, which is pretty standard. So I'm just going to select the node. And there we go. So I'm going to move this one up here a little bit because the apex of the curve is a little bit further up. That's looking pretty sweet. And one more. Oh. I'm just going to smooth that off. There we go. I'm just going to pull this back. Oh, so there's an extra node in there. I'm not sure that happened. So I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to use the delete node function. There we go. I'm just going to pull that back a little bit there. And there we go. I am pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to delete my back image, and there you can see we've got a very basic shape. Now, obviously, there's going to have to be a little bit of tweaking done to that. But I'm just going to go in and I'm going to see about drawing some more lines, adding in some more details. So Control Z, bring back my main image. So notice that we've got these chamfered bits here. I'm going to see about adding in some thinner lines to highlight those so we can use those once we're actually going to build it. Having the outline is quite good, but we want to have all the detail on the plans as well, obviously. Let me see. So, yep, right, let's go. So I'm going to select my Bezier line again, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to put these ones in first because they're easy. Oh, where have they gone? Did I draw them? No, I didn't draw them. I think there's, there we go. I'm just going to bump that up to maybe a 5. That looks good. And then I'm going to draw one up here as well, up to that point. And I'm going to make that 5. Obviously, that bit has gone over a little bit there. You can see it's extended beyond, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rough everything out first of all, and then I'm going to see about tidying it all up. So I've got my detail in there, and now I want to add a slight little chamfer line. So I'm going to repeat the process, and I'm just going to go from this point here to there, to there. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for the bottom. And I'm just going to put a little point in there. There, and that's it. And then I'm going to grab my Bezier or my direct selection tool. I'm going to grab this node here. This is the one that I want to make smooth. And there we go. So I am pretty happy with that. That is looking pretty decent. I'm not happy with these ones. I'm not happy with those thick lines, so I'm going to delete them. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to draw in. Sorry, I just got an email notification there. I don't have 2 screens, so I can't see if people are commenting or anything. So I might just actually, I'm going to take a break. Going to take a break. You can look at my ugly face again for a bit and make sure I've got no notifications. I kind of did this one impromptu, so okay, that's okay. We can deal with that. Yeah, I didn't really post about this one. I just kind of did it on the spur of the moment because I had a spare hour. So right, let's go back. Let's go back to. Oh, I just moved my screen, didn't I? Let's go back to drawing. Right. So yeah, I did a thick line in here. But I don't like that. It didn't look very good and I didn't really have much control over it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw in thin lines instead. And this is probably overkill. Do I want to do this? Actually, no. I'm going to leave that there. Bugger it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to zoom in now using the plus key. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see about tidying up some of these details. So again, grab that selection tool. I'm just going to grab this point. I'm going to move it in there a little bit. Grab my Bezier and just play around with it so that I can't see. Can't see any of the white. That's what I'm kind of looking at. And if you press spacebar, you can then pan along your drawing, save you having to zoom out. You see, I'm just, what I'm doing is pulling it away and then dragging it back into place, just right into the corner there. Do the same with this one here. So that looks pretty good. All those points are looking good. That curve is looking good. So that's what happened with this one. With this thick line, I've got two nodes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select one node and I'm going to delete it. There we go. I'm just going to pull that down. Okay. So that's that there. Yep. Really simple, really straightforward. So this bit here, it is kind of protruding, but you can see in the drawing that because this is like a recess, this channel, it is going to sort of come onto this part a little bit. So yeah, I don't mind that. And what I might do is just round that off. That looks good. And of course that bit is rounded there, but that won't matter. Okay, so that is that. And what I can do then is I can grab my background image. You've also got layers in this, which quite handy if you use programs like Photoshop. So what you can do is you can add in new layers. So I'm going to add in a layer, and you can call the layer whatever you want. So I usually do a reference layer. And we'll just add in reference layer, and you can then turn the layer on and off, and you can lock it so it doesn't move. So what you can do is you can select something, and then you can just right click on your mouse, and you can go move to layer, and then you can select which layer you want to move it to. And then you can turn the layer off, and that can be quite handy with what way the layers are ordered. You should be able to. Oh no, over here, sorry. So over here, you can lower the current layer, so you can set which comes to the front, which comes to the back, and this can be quite handy. So I've moved that, which is a bit of a pain. but you can then sort of turn off your layers to see how you're doing. So I'm just going to zoom in and just notice something here. And I don't want to type in there. Silly me. So I'm going to zoom in. So this bit here, you can see that this curve, it kind of hits this point and then it goes straight. And then that channel kind of extends all the way up to that point. So I turn my line back on, you can see that that doesn't really pop out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this point and I'm going to move it in there. And that looks way better now. And I'm just going to do a little bit of tweaking with this Bezier line. There we go. So that looks much better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off my reference layer, and I've now got half a Batarang. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to see about mirroring this over so I can get a full Batarang. I forget how to do this in this program. Let me see. Yes. So over here, you should have a transformation option, and you can select to move. You can select to scale it. You can select to rotate it. You can select to skew it. Where's the mirror function? Okay, so there's no mirror function there. So the mirror function should be up here. Is it up here? So I can flip, yeah, flip horizontal, and then, no. I don't know. I've lost it. Let me see. Transform. I thought there was a mirror function. I'm pretty sure there's a mirror function here somewhere. It's probably looking at me. It's not move, it's not scale. Angle, my choice. I'm looking like a bit of an idiot now, aren't I? It's got to be here somewhere. I'm getting bored of looking. All right. I probably should have trial run this, but I genuinely thought there was a mirror function there somewhere. Okay, I'm getting bored looking for it now, so I'm going to see about doing something else. So I know how to do this in Illustrator, but I don't know how to do it here. So if we flip horizontal, no, it's gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C, I'm going to copy and paste it. Copy and then paste it, and then I am going to flip horizontally. So yeah, I must look and see. There's probably I know there is a mirror function there somewhere, but I can't be bothered looking for it anymore. If it's not staring me right in the face, I'm not going to bother looking for it. No, anyway, I've got my second half, and what I'm going to do is then just sort of move that over into place. Another handy function that you can do is you can actually group stuff. So if you go to Object and then you do the group selection, or Control G as a shortcut, and that just means that you don't have to select the whole thing with a selection tool. You can just click on one part and then you can move it about as you see best. I'm just going to do the same with that, and then Control G, and that's it grouped. And similarly, you can break apart by clicking ungroup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that bit like that. And that's looking pretty decent. So it's not a perfect, because as I mentioned earlier, the reference image is taken at a slight angle. So it appears to be at an ever so slight angle, to be artistic, I suppose. So it's not a sort of plan view of the piece. So we're going to have to make do. So probably best to get a plan view. What I'm going to try and do is try and rotate it. And let's just try and rotate it by 1 degree. Did that even work? No, it didn't. 1 degree. Apply. And that may have been too much. 1 degree. Apply. It looks a little bit better on the top. Well, that looks quite nice. Oh, look at that. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? I'm just going to get rid of my guideline. And that doesn't look too bad at all. So obviously this isn't perfect, but it would serve the purposes. You can go ahead now and you can group all this together. You can do a little bit more complicated stuff where you can join these nodes together and turn it into single paths. It might come in handy if you're going to do something like this. Let me just turn off this. If you're going to do some laser cutting, it might be quite handy to have those paths in place. And then you could just select those and cut out the profiles. Or you can go ahead and you can do some more designs. You can scale them, which is quite important because I don't know how big this Batarang should be. I think these are looking to be a bit chunkier. Let's go back to this image here. Where's my sharing screen? Share. So yeah, they look to be quite chunky, quite thick. This is actually a different design, which I'm going to draw later on. Slightly different design, but I'm going to do more or less the same thing, try and get some reference images of it and use those to draw plans similar to this. Excuse me. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Tutorial, if you can call it that, me drawing something on the computer. I hope, what's going on? Sorry, I'm losing track of it. There we go. I wish I had 2 screens. It's so much easier to do this with 2 screens, but I'm on the laptop, so we just have to make do. So yeah, there is the Batarang from, what's it called? Dawn of Justice, one of them. Pretty much finished with that. You can do some editing to it. You can go ahead and you can ungroup these and you can select them individually and you can increase, where's that? You can increase the thickness of the lines. So if you want to make them more apparent, you know, we'll get a bit visual there, a bit stylized, but yeah, you can make the lines thicker, thinner, depending on how you want them to look, how you want them to stand out on the drawing. So there are some modifications that can be done afterwards. But yeah, that was pretty simple. I don't know how long that took, 20 minutes, half an hour, but a really simple tool that you can create detailed, super awesome detailed plans really quickly. So I would highly recommend that you go ahead and you download this program and follow with my simple step-by-step instructions, and you too can draw amazing plans. So what I'm going to do, I think this video is uploaded to YouTube. I might finish off this plan and make it available to download. I think I can do that. So if you are watching, check in the link in the comments below, and you can download the plan free of charge. I don't know how I'll do that, but I'll figure it out. And if you do attempt to use Inkscape, be sure and tell me about it. How did you get on? What did you like? Did you find the mirror function? I'm gonna have to search for that now. That's bugged me. Looked like an idiot for 5 minutes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you again next time. Make sure get in touch with me and let me know how you get on with it. And thanks for watching. How do I turn this off? Here we go. Bye, guys.